I spoke to you at the start yesterday about the fact that you're a country guy from central north coast of New South Wales, used to rallying in a forest. This is a very different set of situations here at Rally Calder. How do you think you'll go?
Yeah, look, I think the concept's going to be good, especially now the rain's held off a little bit. I hope it's good for the spectators, because that's where it is. Trying to sell yourself in front of a crowd is the biggest thing. Our sport just doesn't get the recognition it should. As for how hard we try, we'll just have to suck it and see. We don't want to go and damage the car too much, because 3 weeks later it's got to be in Western Australia, so it's pretty tight for us. But we're certainly going to have a go.
Very good. Thanks, Michael. Michael Boaden, of course, competing with his sister Helen Cheers in that Evo 9 Lancer in the four-wheel drive class, and one of the real competitors in that category. But it's an entirely new category, and this weekend at least he's got it to himself, and that's the East Coast Bull Bars Australian SUV Rally Challenge, and Brett Middleton running the turbo diesel Subaru Forester, something very different out of the box. And Brett, you've taken the plunge and become the first driver to commit to the new class. Tell us a bit about the car and what your plans are for this year.
Look, the big thing for us this year is obviously to take as many advantages as we can with the points, get a lot of R&D on the car. It's a big learning curve for us, being the first turbo diesel Subaru rally car in the world. We've had some help from Stoll Racing in Austria. They've been rallying a Impreza turbo diesel car for a few years, but the new generation engine that we're running is a lot different. And from a technology point of view, it's been a huge learning curve. So it's a case of just today and tomorrow there's going to be a lot of testing, trying things, seeing what we can do with the car, but at the same time making sure we finish the event and get over to Perth and have another good result.
What attracted you to the SUV class?
From our point of view, it's really good with our business, with MRT Performance. We do a lot of Subaru tuning and R&D work from a performance point of view on a lot of road cars. The car is a huge market segment here in Australia. A lot of people don't realise just how many Foresters are out there, and a lot of them are turbo petrol ones, but the growing opportunity is the turbo diesel market, because in the UK over 40% of the cars are turbo diesels, and that's starting to happen here in Australia. So from a business point of view, it gives us an opportunity to leverage our R&D with the car, which obviously has fast-tracked it in a big way in the last 3 months, and we've got our head tuner here today, this weekend, doing more R&D and testing things and data logging stuff, which we can then use on road cars.
Very good. We just hope that you've got all the groceries and the kids' toys strapped down in the back before you go out on the rally stages. So it's going to be a really interesting and exciting category as it develops. We've got another guy who would have been here this weekend, but for some medical problems, looking to run a Porsche Cayenne, and I know a couple of other manufacturers are looking to run SUVs later in the year, so you might have a bit more opposition later in 2012 in the East Coast Bull Bars SUV title. Obviously, one of the things that Scott Pett has done with the Bosch Australian Rally Championship is try and build as many categories into it to make the championship multifaceted and add some interest on different levels. And obviously the SUV title is one of them, and we'll be talking to some of the side-by-side guys shortly. But one category that's really attracted some interest over the last couple of years is the classic category, and that's really building as a salute to the legacy and heritage of rallying. Some of the great cars from the past, given a modern intonation, if you like, with some of the later technology, but looking at the cars as they ran back in the 70s and early 80s. And one of those cars this weekend, if you get a chance to go out and see some of the stages, you really need to go and have a look at Neal Bates, 4 times Australian champion, in what is a beautifully built and prepared Toyota Celica RA40 from 1980. He's built that in his workshop in Canberra. And Neal, it's fair to say that you're pretty tentative, I suppose, given the conditions here, that you're going to go and really muddy up that beautiful piece of machinery that you guys have slaved over since January.
Yeah, look, there's a whole lot of things this weekend. I'm overawed to be in the same room as so many factory drivers with Eli and Mark and Cody and Guesty. So it's just amazing with so many factory drivers around these days. But look, I was going around in recce yesterday and wondering whether I should swap over to the tarmac section so I didn't have to get it dirty, but I thought about it and it's going to happen one day, so I might as well be this weekend. But when I looked at my Land Cruiser, I wasn't so keen on the Celica looking like that. It was brown everywhere except for the wipers.
So tell us a bit about the car. What made you choose this particular Celica? Obviously, they rallied a number of Celicas through the 70s and into the early 80s. What attracted you to this car, and how close is it to what Toyota Team Europe were running in the World Championship back then?
What attracted me to this car was power steering. I'm not getting any younger, so I didn't want to be fighting with someone without. But, when you have a look at the classic regulations, it's got to be pre-82, and obviously I wanted to run a Toyota for obvious reasons. And the RA40, it's homologated with rack and pinion power steering. It's got quite big wheel arches, so you can run 15-inch wheels. And, I had a picture of, I looked through old magazines and there was a picture of Ove Anderson in the 1980 Acropolis Rally in an RA40. There was a fantastic picture, and I thought that's what I want to buy. So I scouted around, talked to the bank manager, scouted around, bought a car for $180 and started from there.
I'm sure you've put a few more dollars than that into it since that $180 investment.
Trust me, the car was the cheapest part.
Very good. We're looking forward to seeing that being thrown around out here at Calder this weekend.